Sandokan Season 2 just got pushed back. And I know that's not the headline fans wanted. But here's the twist. While Sandokan 2 waits for the right production window, Jaan Yaman is lining up a very different move. A comedy project called Bro. And the details people are talking about, episode length, episode count and the format, make this way more interesting than it sounds. In the next few minutes, I'm going to break down what's actually being said about why Sandokan 2 is delayed, what that delay likely means, and what it does not mean, and what Bro could look like, including the talk around 20-minute episodes, a large episode count, and also the alternative rumor of a shorter premium first season. If you want clean updates without hype and without drama, subscribe, because when the next real detail drops, we'll connect the dots fast. Let's start with the big question. Why would Sandokan Season 2 be delayed? The most important thing to understand is the difference between delayed and dead. What's being said is about a schedule shift, a push, not a cancellation. And that matters because big productions, especially ones with multiple moving parts, don't run like small projects. They move when the timing, budget, and logistics align. From the way it's been described, the delay doesn't sound like a panic move. Sounds like a choice. A don't rush it choice. Sandokan isn't the kind of show you speedrun. It's not a simple studio setup where you can just keep filming week after week with the same environment. It's atmosphere. It's the kind of project where the difference between okay and legendary is time and resources. And that's where the logic becomes very simple. If you're going to continue a franchise like Sandokan, you want it to hit hard. You want it to look expensive. You want it to feel like an event. If the team needs more time and more money to do that properly, then delaying can actually be a sign of ambition, not weakness. Now, while that delay is happening, Jaan isn't disappearing. He's not going silent. Instead, he's moving into a totally different lane, comedy. That's where Bro enters the story. The talk is that Jaan is expected to return to Rome in the summer to shoot a comedy series called Bro with Lux Vide. And even before we get into the episode format rumors, that single sentence alone is a huge signal. 'Cause it says, this is strategic. Right now, Jaan's image is heavily linked to intensity, action energy, physically demanding roles, big hero presence, high stakes. Comedy is a different skill set. It's a different rhythm. And if you can lead in both action and comedy, you become harder to typecast and easier to export internationally. Comedy also has a special power, rewatch value. People rewatch comedy the way they don't always rewatch heavy dramas. Comedy can become comfort content. It can become put it on while eating content. It can become binge it again content. And that is exactly the kind of content that can blow up a fan base in a new way, especially if the show is built around a character people latch onto fast. So what do we actually know about Bro as a show? Here's the fun part. There are two different versions of the format being talked about, and both are plausible depending on what kind of release strategy they want. One version sounds like a classic sitcom-style structure. Short episodes, lots of them. The numbers being discussed are roughly 20 minutes per episode and potentially around 40 episodes. That is a very specific type of plan. That's the kind of show you can schedule frequently, build routine viewing around, and make extremely bingeable because each episode is quick. If you've ever watched a show where you say, one more episode, and suddenly it's 2 a.m., that's the style. A 20-minute format can also help comedy hit harder because the pace stays tight. No filler. No long stretches. Set up, punchline, momentum, next. But then there's another version being discussed. A modern premium season approach. A first season that's closer to around 8 episodes. That is a totally different strategy. An 8-episode season suggests tighter writing, more cinematic choices, more focus per episode, and often a structure that fits streaming audiences who expect a clean season arc. It can also mean higher production value per minute, because the budget isn't stretched across dozens of episodes. So which one is real? 20 minutes x 40 episodes, or a shorter first season of around 8? The honest answer is, it may still be evolving. And that's not unusual at all. Projects change shape all the time. A show can start life as short episodes with a lot of volume, and then shift into fewer episodes with higher impact, depending on who wants it, how it will be distributed, and what kind of audience they're aiming for. Sometimes, even the same project can go through multiple internal versions before the final format becomes official. And Bro is exactly the kind of title that could be pitched in different ways, either as a high-volume sitcom engine or as a premium streaming comedy with a stronger seasonal arc. Now here's the bigger question. Why would they ever switch from 40 short episodes to 8 episodes in the first place? Because format isn't just creative. It's business. A 40-episode, short runtime comedy is great if you want frequent scheduling, routine viewing, and a long runway of content. Can build familiarity. Can build habit. A shorter season is great if you want a high-impact launch, a clean global rollout, and a format that's easier to sell internationally. Short seasons also make it easier for new viewers to start. 8 episodes feels like a manageable commitment. 40 episodes can feel like homework unless the show is already a phenomenon. So if Bro ends up being a short first season, it might mean they want to drop it as a strong first statement and then decide whether to expand later. If it ends up being lots of short episodes, it could mean they want it to live more like a comfort comedy that becomes part of people's weekly routine. Either way, what matters is the career move itself. Jaan stepping into comedy on purpose, at the exact moment a major franchise project is being rescheduled. That is not random. That's momentum management. Because a delay can be dangerous if it creates silence. Silence kills hype. Silence gives the internet room to invent narratives. The smartest thing you can do is keep moving and keep visible, but do it with something that expands your range. So what does this mean for Sandokan fans specifically? It means Sandokan 2 is being timed, not ignored. And weirdly, Bro could help Sandokan in the long run in 3 major ways. First, it adds range. If Jaan nails comedy, it unlocks more roles and more opportunities. More opportunities means more industry leverage. More leverage can mean better conditions for big projects. Second, it expands the audience. Comedy can pull in people who don't normally watch action-heavy drama. That's how fan bases grow sideways, not just upward. You bring new people into the orbit. Third, it keeps momentum alive. Even if Sandokan 2 needs more time, Jaan stays present, stays discussed, stays in demand, and that can keep attention warm until Sandokan returns. Now, is the Sandokan delay bad news? Depends on what you value. If you value speed, it's frustrating. If you value quality, it can be hopeful. Because when a production is delayed for timing, resources, and scale, it can be the difference between it was fine and it was unforgettable. And Sandokan isn't meant to be fine. It's meant to be big. So here's the clean summary. Sandokan 2 being pushed back doesn't automatically mean trouble. Can mean the opposite, that the team wants the next step to match the size of the name. Meanwhile, Bro is a smart pivot that keeps momentum alive and gives Jaan a chance to show a different side, either through a short premium first season or through a fast, bingeable sitcom format with short episodes and lots of volume. What I'm watching next is simple. The moment the final structure of Bro gets confirmed, the whole strategy becomes clearer. The platform it lands on, the confirmed episode count, the runtime. Those 3 details will tell us exactly which version of the show is real. Until then, treat it like this. Sandokan is being positioned for the best possible return, and Bro is the bridge that keeps Jaan moving forward while that return is being set up. If you want the next update the moment we get a confirmed episode count and runtime, subscribe and I'll catch it fast. Alright, that's it for today. See you in the next one.